Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei had Digimon Powers and becomes Digimon Master Part 1. Before we start, please go support Angel Gonzalez 753 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. The beginning of our story. We see a strange place very similar to the human world but with strange creatures. Issei. Are you ready to return, he said seriously. Angel. Whatever, I just hope it's not so boring, said a black-haired man calmly. Celine. Come on, don't be a party pooper, it'll be fun, said a blonde with a big smile. Issei. So let's go, he said, opening a strange portal. So the boys ran to the portal towards a new destination. Issei. Riaz, I will finally fulfill my promise. Flashback. We see a 6-year-old boy playing in the park until a cry caught his attention. Issei. Hello friend, are you okay? He said, seeing a red-haired girl a little older than him. Riaz. No, sniff and leave me alone, sniff, she said while crying. Issei. Such a cute girl should never cry, he said, trying to calm the retard. Riaz. You think I'm cute, she said, blushing while wiping away her tears. Issei. Of course, and your hair has a beautiful crimson tone. I forgot what your name is, he said with a big smile. Riaz. My name is Riaz Gremory, and you, she said more calmly. Issei. Hi do Issei, tell me why you were crying, he said curiously, while the retard made a sad face. Riaz. I heard my parents say that when I grow up they are going to get me engaged, and the worst thing is that I won't be able to meet him, it will be a loveless marriage, I'm going to marry someone I don't love, she said sadly. Issei. That's horrible, everyone should marry the person they love, not someone out of obligation, he said with disgust. Riaz. I know, and the worst thing is that I can't do anything to avoid it, that's my destiny, she said sadly. Issei. I don't think so, I don't allow it, hi do Issei, I promise you, Riaz Gremory, that in the future I will fight against whoever until you can be with the man you love, he said determinedly, while taking out a necklace with a strange symbol. Riaz. Why are you giving me this? She said, taking the necklace. Issei. As a symbol of our promise. In flashback. Guo Academy, Japan. We see a red-haired girl with a good body, pensive while talking to a black-haired girl with the same body. Riaz. I can't believe I have to marry that idiot Razor, she said sadly. Bekeno. I know life is so unfair, he wasn't supposed to be your fiancé, he was Sona's, but now that he has the idiot Saji, the powerful Securitate, the damn council fulfills all his whims, she said angrily. Riaz. Yes, but there is nothing we can do now, she said sadly. Sona. Hello Riaz, how are you? She said arrogantly. Bekeno. Riaz, I'm leaving, she said with disgust. Sona. And what's wrong with her? She said with annoyance. Riaz. Sona, what do you want? I thought you would be in the underworld bragging that you have the Securitate, she said it would be. Sona. Oh, you're so upset, or are you jealous because I have a powerful being in my entourage and you don't, she said mockingly. Riaz. You don't know what bothers me, what bothers me is that my best friend became arrogant and conceited for having the bearer of the red dragon, she said seriously but sadly. Sona. TSK anyway, see you by the way, happy wedding, she said, leaving the place. Riaz. Issei, where are you, I need you. Outskirts of Kuo. We see a strange portal from which 3 boys emerged with a calm look. Angel. It's here, he said looking at the city. Issei. That's Kuo, Japan, he said seriously. Celine. And who exactly are we looking for? She said curiously. I see. Riaz Gremory. Underworld Gremory Castle. We can see a retard walking around her office with a furious look in the eyes of a silver-haired girl. Siri. This can't be that damn advice, how dare they do this to my little sister, said the retard furiously. Rafia. Yes, I know, but we can't do anything, said the silver-haired girl resignedly. Siri. It's all the fault of the fool Serafo. Oh, if my sister has the powerful Securitate, she doesn't need to be compromised for now, because they don't put her group to shame, it's weak, she said angrily. Rafia. I must admit that it was very underhanded what Miss Leviathan did to free her sister from marriage, she said with annoyance. Siri. I must find a way to help my sister no matter what it takes. 6 hours later. Guo City. We can see both entourages patrolling the city looking for renegade demons. Brewer, a loud roar caught everyone's attention as they headed to an abandoned train station. Riaz. What the heck is that? She said nervously upon seeing a strange creature that looked like a turtle and a dinosaur. Saji. No matter what it is, I will defeat it, he said proudly summoning a red gauntlet. Sona. Come on Saji, no one can defeat you, she said with arrogance. The blonde began to run towards the creature, giving it a strong punch that was of no use. Brewer, the creature roared, giving him a strong slap, sending the blonde against a wall. Sona. Saji screamed in shock looking at her powerful pawn defeated by a simple blow. Brewer out of nowhere another loud roar caught everyone's attention, looking at what appeared to be an orange dinosaur. Without saying another word the dinosaur grabbed the other creature and threw it into the air. Brayman. Mega flame he said launching a powerful flame from his mouth destroying the turtle. Rias. He can talk she said incredulously upon hearing the dinosaur's voice. Bekeno. Rias, get away from him she said nervously watching the dinosaur approach her. Brayman Rias that's your name he said scaring everyone. Rias. Yes that's my name she said nervously. Brayman. Wow, I found you quickly he said seriously. Rias. You know me she said confused. At that moment a light covered the dinosaur, blinding everyone for a few seconds and then revealing a brown-haired boy. Rias I am possible I say. The existence of a digital world. Silence fell after what the Retid said, who began to shed tears. Issei. It's been a while, don't laugh he said with a warm smile. Rias. I can't believe it's you, you're here, you're back she said hugging him tightly as she began to cry. Issei. Hey, calm down, you've forgotten what I told you, someone like you shouldn't cry he said calmly wiping away the Retid's tears. Sona. Who the hell are you and how did you end up being one of those things? She said with authority. Angel. What a way to ruin such a special moment for them he said appearing next to his partner. Issei. How did it go? He said calmly. Rias. Issei, you know them she said calmly. Issei. Of course they are my friends, he is Angel de Leon and she is Celine Misson she said happily. Angel Celine. Nice to meet you they both said politely. Rias. The pleasure is mine. I present to you my entourage. They are Akeno Himejima, Kaneko Taoju and Kibayudo she said calmly as the three of them bowed. Sona cough you didn't answer my question she said annoyed. Issei. I don't have to do it he said seriously, bothering the brunette even more. Rias. Issei, where were you? I tried to look for you, but I never found you she said curiously. Issei. It's a very long story he said thoughtfully. Rias. Come, I have a place where we can talk more calmly she said, creating a magic circle disappearing along with Issei and company. Sona. Who does he think he is to ignore me? Guo Academy Occult Club. Rias and the others appeared at the club leaving Issei and his friends somewhat confused. Issei. But how did you do that he said confused. Rias. No, it can't be, I never told you what I really am she said nervously remembering that little detail. Issei. Like what you really are he said confused. Rias. Issei, me and my entourage are demons she said, nervously showing her wings. Issei what this has to be a joke he said incredulously. Rias. It is not even other supernatural beings exist like angels, fallenest guardians etc. she said nervously. Issei. No this can't he couldn't continue because Angel put his hand on his shoulder. Angel. Dude, after everything we've been through, this really surprises you he said calmly. Issei. I think you're right he said calming down. Rias. So what do you think of me now? She said worriedly. Issei. From thinking if you are a demon or not, that's what matters to me, you're still the same girl I met in the park he said happily, making the Retid smile. Bekeno. Wait, you're the boy she always talks about, the one who gave her a necklace as a symbol of promise she said shocked. Issei. That's right he said happily. Rias. Okay, I see, now you could tell us what happened she said curiously. Issei. I think so, well the creature they saw is called Digimon, it comes from its own world known as Digital World, in which humans do not exist, there are only Digimon, there can be anything from very small beings to large and powerful beings, sometimes there are dimensional faults that allow some Digimon to leave their world and come to this one or vice versa he said seriously. Giba. And how do you know this? He said curiously. Issei. You see 5 years ago me and my parents were on a plane on vacation, but a strong storm caused the plane to fall I don't remember much, but I could see how the plane crashed into the sea and many bodies fell to the bottom of the ocean as did I, but before falling unconscious, I could see a strange light and when I woke up I found myself on an island with some remains of the plane, but without any other person it didn't take long to notice several creatures with strange aspects, I wandered around the place for a long time until little by little I became friends with the Digimons in the area, shortly after I met Angel, he told me that one day in the forest of his house, he saw a strange light and when the light went out he was no longer in his house, the same thing happened with Celine she had a car accident with her family she remembers a light before falling down a ravine and waking up in the digital world, so the three of us became friends fighting adversity, but it was clear that being ordinary humans we could not do much against the big Digimons, but one day we met Banchaleamon, considered one of the wisest Digimons he said with nostalgia. Issei. He knew about the existence of our world and he told us that if we wanted to survive we had to adapt and that's why he gave us this he said, well the three of them showed a strange device. Rias. What are they? She said curiously. Issei. Their name is Digivis, they would give us the power of the Digimons, but we had to train in all aspects of body, mind and soul, he said seriously. Akeno. And what motivated them to return, she said curiously. Issei. We learned that the portals between the human world and the digital world have increased and that would put this side at risk and we were the only ones who could go unnoticed on the side. Besides, I have a promise with Rias, he said with a big smile, blushing the aforementioned. Rias. I can't believe the existence of another world totally different from the one we know, she said incredulously. Akeno. Now with those devices you can defeat any Digimon that comes to attack, she said curiously. Issei. Yes, but not completely. We are still in the first stage of evolution of a Digimon. Normally there are 3 mature Digimon, Ultra and Mega. We still have to reach Ultra and Mega, he said calmly. Rias. I see this. She couldn't understand why a yellow magic circle appeared to reveal a blonde with an idiotic face. Razor. Hello my dear Rias, he said with an arrogant voice. Rias. What do you want, Razor, she said annoyed. Razor. I know I can't come see my future wife, he said trying to hold the Redeed's chin, but someone stopped him. Issei. Don't even think about it, you idiot. Keeping promises. Everyone was surprised to see how the brown-haired boy moved and how without much effort he stopped Razor's hand. Razor. Damn garbage, who do you think you are to intervene? She said annoyed trying to get away. Issei. I'll tell you one, so listen carefully, you idiot, don't come near Rias again or I'll kill you, he said in a cold voice scaring Razor. Razor. You can't help anything, she's my fiancée, he said trying to sound calm. Issei. And what do I care about? You've already been warned, he said, throwing him against the wall. Razor. This will not stay like this, you will see, he said leaving the place. Rias. Thank you Issei, she said hugging the brown-haired boy. Issei. Don't worry, remember that I made you a promise. The next day. Underworld Gremory Castle. We can see a Redeed next to a silver-haired woman listening to the conversation that a Redeed and a brunette were having with 2 blondes. Lord Phoenix. This is unheard of, how they let a nobody get involved in the wedding preparations, he said annoyed. Zeoticus. The truth is that I find what they told us very impressive, but there is a small detail, the Redeed said seriously. Lady Phoenix, which one, she said annoyed. Then Alana. We don't know which boy they are talking about, she said it would be the brunette. Siri. Hey, why don't we go to the human world to see who it is, he said it would be. Zeoticus. I think that's a good idea. Guo Academy Occult Club. The boys had their first day of school since Rias did them the favor of registering them, although she had some slight inconvenience with Sona, but she was able to solve it. Rias. Issei, how did they manage to have money for a house and food? She said curiously, since if they were in the digital world these last few years, she didn't know where they got the money. Angel. We robbed a bank, he said without further ado. Club members. What, they screamed in disbelief. Issei. It was a joke, he said mockingly. Rias. That's not done, she said annoyed. Issei. Well, the truth is that so many things have fallen in the digital world that on one of those occasions a briefcase with a lot of money fell, he said calmly. Akeno. The idea of the bank sounds more logical, she said while drinking tea. At that moment 2 magic circles appeared showing 2 blondes, 2 Redeeds, a brunette and a silver-haired girl. Rias. Odo Sams, Okasama, Nasama, what are you doing here, she said confused. Then Alana. Hello Rias Venom, she couldn't continue because a blonde interrupted her. Lord Phoenix. We came to see who the bastard was who dared to raise his hand against Razor. Issei. It was me, he said without further ado, drawing the attention of the adults. Lady Phoenix. And with what right, human brat, she said with superiority. Issei. Because I feel like it, because I can and because I want to, he said seriously. Siri. Excuse me, what is your name and why are you against my sister's engagement? She said curious and fascinated by the boy's guts. Issei. My name is Hyoudou Issei and I do it because I made a promise to protect her until she can marry someone she loves, he said, seriously surprising everyone. Rias. Issei, but it's you that I love, she thought while holding her chest. Lord Phoenix. Don't make me laugh, you're just human trash, what can you do against my son? He said with arrogance. Siri. If he is so confident, why don't we have a fight? If Razor wins, the boy gets out of the way and lets the wedding continue, but if he wins, the marriage is annulled, he said it would be surprising everyone. Lady Phoenix. What are you talking about, she said annoyed. Zeoticus. What's wrong? Don't tell me you're afraid of a simple human, he said seriously. Lord Phoenix. We accept, he said seriously. Siri. And your boy, she said looking at the brown-haired boy. Issei. Go ahead. 20 minutes later. Everyone was in a small arena where on one side were the Gremory Patriarchs with Aria's entourage and Issei's friends, and on the other side were the Phoenix Patriarchs with their son's entourage and the Citri clan as witnesses, and the 2 participants in the center. Rafia. Everything is ready for the fight between Razor Phoenix vs Hyoudou Issei. Razor. I'll show you your human place, he said seriously, while the brown-haired boy didn't even flinch. Rafia. Start. Razor. Die, said, throwing a fireball. Issei. Mercy's Digimon. Everyone saw how the fireball hit the chestnut tree, scaring Rias. Razor. That was all, ha 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 ha, he laughed like crazy while his family smiled proudly. Angel. Do you think this is over as soon as it begins, he said seriously, drawing everyone's attention. At that moment the flames will change their shape and then you will hear a voice. Flamedramon, the burning courage, he said seriously. Everyone could see a creature that was not very large but had details similar to fire. Rias. Issei, she said happily. Akeno. What Digivolution is that? She said curiously. Celine. It is an armored Digimon that allows small Digimon to take a more powerful form without the need to evolve, she said, surprising the entourage and confusing the rest. Flamedramon. What's up, Yakitori, I surprised you, he said mockingly. Razor. You are cursed, he said, starting to throw multiple fireballs. Flamedramon. Stupid me, I mastered fire, he said while vanishing all the attacks. Razor. This is impossible, he said incredulously. Flamedramon. I will show you its true power, ballistic shot, he said, launching a powerful attack from his hand. Razor ended up slammed against a wall as he tried to stay standing. Razor. Why my body doesn't regenerate, he said incredulously. Flamedramon. The ballistic shot itself is an attack that is devastating on its own, but if my opponent has the ability to use fire like me, his power is completely drained, he said seriously. Rias. Without magic there is no regeneration, she said impressed. Flamedramon. It's over, Bomber, he said taking a big leap, covering himself in flames. The Digimon launched itself at the blonde, creating a huge explosion, and after the smoke dissipated, Razor could still be seen knocked out. Rafia. Razor can't continue, the winner is Hyoudou Issei. Meeting the Digimons. Everyone was more than surprised after what happened in the battle against Razor, no one could believe the brown-haired boy's level. Issei. I think this breaks the engagement, he said seriously, turning around. Lord Phoenix. Wait, what the hell was that? Screamed in disgust. Issei. Something that doesn't matter to them, he said seriously. Zeodicus, wow boy, that was amazing, he said coming out of his astonishment. Issei. I appreciate it and I hope that this will take away the stupid idea of compromising Rias with any idiot, he said seriously. Then Alana. Don't worry about that, because if you defeat Razor, you are now Ria's fiancé, she said happily. Issei, what incredulous cry. Angel. In short, you are an idiot, he said mockingly. Issei. Shut up, don't you see, he couldn't continue because the Redeed pulled his hand. Rias. Issei, you don't like the idea of being a couple, she said with a sad face. Issei. No, that's not it, what I mean is that we should work on a relationship before moving on to something like marriage, he said nervously. Rias. Okay, from now on we'll be boyfriends, she said happily, blushing at the brown-haired boy. Angel. Damn, you almost screwed up, he said in her ear. Sorry. Well, I think you should return to the human world, she said calmly. The boys all nodded and Rissa created a magic circle transporting everyone back to the occult club. Sorry. She really loves him. Guo Academy Occult Club. We see the boys appearing at the club with great joy that disappeared when they heard strange noises in the room. Issei. What's wrong? He said curiously, seeing small hidden shadows. Rias. I don't know, they're not our relatives, she said confused as the brown-haired boy approached a corner. Issei. Come on, get out of here, he couldn't continue because something jumped on him. Mikado, it's you, we finally found you, said a red creature. One-chan, here you are, said another yellow creature running towards Celine. Angel. It's you, let me guess, go behind the desk, he said seeing a shadow. Sensei, is that you, said a blue creature. Rias. How cute, she said looking at the three little creatures. Fiba. They are Digimons, he said curiously. Issei. That's correct, but they are babies. I present to you Gilman, Renamen and Veman, he said calmly. Note. I know these are not their original names, but I like to use these. Angel. But what are you doing here, or does anyone know that you are here, he said seriously. Veman. No, he said nervously. Celine. Perfect, Banchaleaman is going to get angry, she said heavily. Akeno. But who could get angry with such cuteness, she said carrying the yellow one. Renamen. Gigi, the lady tickles me, she said smiling, making the Gremory die even more from tenderness. Angel. And what are we going to do? We can't bring them back alone, he said seriously. Issei. They will stay with us, they will be better, and then we will explain everything to Banchaleaman, he said seriously. Rias. Well, I think it's time to go, it's late. 3 days later. The days go by and the boys have been adjusting to life in the human world, and they also use the occult club as a corral for the Digimons, but not everything is peace and quiet, since Sona has been insisting on adding Issei to her entourage, bothering Issei. But how annoying, he said, annoyed while lying on a sofa. Rias. Sona has been spoiled for a while now and wants everything when she orders it, she said heavily. Dilman. I don't like the four eyes, she's ugly, he said, causing the whole club to laugh. At that moment a communication circle appeared in the Retid's ear. Issei, Rias, what's going on, he said curiously. Rias. It is said that another strange creature appeared in the lake. I see going. Lake outside Kuo. We can see the entire Citri clan fighting against what looked like a sea serpent and of course the powerful Sekirute being humiliated by it. Rias. We are here, he said. It would be. Sona. Until they finally arrive, she said, annoyed. Rias. What Digimon is that? She said curiously. Celine. It's Seedraman, she said. It would be. Issei. And it's not one, it's two, he said seriously. Saji. What the hell are you talking about? Don't you see, there's only one, he said angrily. Angel. Well, you're stupid, or don't you see that after 3 attacks it dives and comes out stronger? There are 2 of them. When they manage to do a little damage to it, they change, he said seriously. Issei. Well, who helps me, he said seriously. Angel. Come on, I want to stretch my muscles, he said, taking out his Digivolus. I see Digivolus to Greymon said, now as a dinosaur. Angel. Angel Digivolus to Garurumon said, turning into a wolf. As soon as the 2 boys Digivolved, the 2 snakes appeared in front of them. Sona. The other one too, she said incredulously. Greymon. Mega Flame, he said, launching his attack. The attack was quickly dodged by both creatures. Garurumon. Get his attention but don't attack, he said seriously. Greymon. Good, he said seriously, beginning to face both snakes. Rias. What are they planning? She said confused. Celine. Don't worry, they are both good at working together, she said calmly. Demon. Tomato-chan, don't worry, Sensei and Issei are very strong, he said happily. Greymon was in a somewhat complicated situation since the Digimons were ready to attack. Garurumon. Silent Tornado said, creating a tornado with his mouth, sweeping away all the water in the lake and throwing the snakes into the air. Garurumon. Now finish them, he said seriously. Greymon. Mega Flame, he said, launching his attack again with more power, charring both enemies. Rias. They did it, she said happily. Akeno. They are very good, she said happily. Tiba. This is really impressive, he said fascinated. Kaneko. Digimons are amazing, she said excitedly. Everything the Gremory clan said annoyed Sona and her pawn. Sona. Well, I think we're done, guys, it's time to go. I don't continue because 3 hooded women appeared. You are the Gremory and Citri heirs, said one of them. Sona. Yes, you would, she said she would. We came to talk about a topic of fallen angels. Meeting a friend. Rias. What is this problem about? She said, looking at the 3 hooded women. I think this is not the place to talk, said one of them. Rias. Sure, follow me. 10 minutes later. Guo Academy Occult Club. Both entourages and the Digimons were gathered in the club room looking at the hooded ones. Rias. Before continuing, I would like to know your names, she said respectfully. Of course, my name is Zenobia Corda, the leader said. She was a blue-haired girl with a green lock. I am Asia Argento, said the shortest of the 3, who was blonde with green eyes. And I am Irina Shidu, said the last one, a brunette with pigtails. I see. What are you, Irina? Incredulous cry. Rias. Issei, you know her, she said confused. Irina. I see, hi do I see, she said in surprise. Issei. Yes, it's me, he said while they both hugged each other. Zenobia cough Irina, the mission, she said something serious. Irina. Yes, sorry, I'm sorry, she said somewhat embarrassed. Zenobia. You see, we are here to look for a cadre named Kakabiel, who has stolen some swords called Excalibur, she said it would be, while a blonde got angry. Rias. I see, then he is here in the city, he said it would be. Zenobia. That's right, and we also have the last 2 Excalibur swords, she said it would be, while showing a bandaged object in Irina bracelet. Tiba quickly summoned his sword and launched himself at both of them. Issei. Hey, what do you think you're doing? He said seriously while Angel held him by the neck and Issei held the sword. Tiba. I must destroy all the Excalibur swords, he said with hatred. Issei. I don't know what your motives are, but you must calm down, they are not enemies, he said seriously while the blonde lowered his sword. Rias. Well, why did they want to see us? I don't think they just came to inform us of the situation, she said a little more seriously. Zenobia. That's right, we came to you to kindly ask you not to meddle in our affairs, she said in a serious voice. Sona. What are you talking about, she said angrily. Zenobia. Throughout history it has been seen the demons are not trustworthy, he said it would be. Saji. Who do you think you are to say that? Do you think you can beat a cadre? Please, I would sweep the floor with you. It's not for nothing that I'm the Sekirute, he said with arrogance. Asia. We saw your performance against those creatures and your level of fighting, besides being poor, is pitiful, said the blonde seriously. Saji. What did you say? He said annoyed. Irina. The truth is things as they are, if it hadn't been for Issei and his friend you would be dead, she said seriously, leaving the blonde silent. Zenobia. Speaking of which, I would like to count on your help, she said, looking at the brown-haired boy. Issei. Mine, he said surprised. Zenobia. Of course, you and your friend seem to be very powerful, you could be of help to us, and I'm surprised that you don't emanate any kind of energy, she said it would be. Issei. Sure, it will be fun guys, what do you say, he said looking at his friends who just nodded. Zenobia. Well, we proceed to leave with permission, she said calmly as the three of them left the place. Sona. Who do these damn people think they are to insult my servant? She said annoyed. Riaz. I'm telling you the truth or we're still friends, she said nervously as Sona left the place with her entourage. Kiba. I'm leaving, he said, leaving the club. Riaz. Kiba said sadly for his hair. Issei. Let's let him calm down a bit, he said calmly. Riaz. Okay, hey Issei, where do you know that girl from? She said curiously. Issei. So she's a childhood friend, we did all kinds of things together, he said with a nostalgic look. Riaz. I see a friend, it seems like they haven't seen you for a long time, she said curiously. Issei. Yes, we knew each other long before I met you, but your father had a job offer and had to leave the country, he said calmly. Riaz. I see, well it's time to go to rest, she said calmly. Issei. If tomorrow is going to be a long day. The next day. The club was very worried since Kiba had not appeared anywhere, which distressed Riaz. Issei. Don't worry, it will appear. Don't worry, he said calmly. Riaz. But if something bad happened to him, he went to look for Kakabiel to destroy those swords, she said nervously. Issei. Come on, laugh, calm down, listen, if he went to look for Kakabiel, I'll find him while you look for him in the places he frequented, he said seriously. Riaz. It's okay, she said calming down. Angel. Issei, the girls arrived, he said seriously. Issei. Good luck, he said giving her a light kiss. Riaz. He kissed me. Go center. We see the boys entering an abandoned warehouse. I see we have guests that night, said an albino with a crazy face. Zenobia. Who are you? She said annoyed. Pardon my manners, my name is Freed, the best demon hunter, he said proudly. Irina. We delivered the Excalibur sword, she said it would be. I'm sorry, but that's not going to be possible, said an elderly man. Asia. Valper Galilei, the creator of the Sacred Sword Project, he said it would be while the girls were getting angry. Galilei. I see that you know me, I feel flattered, he said calmly. Zenobia. Let's leave that stupid talk for later, she said, launching herself in arena against Fred. Asia. The old one is mine, he said it would be. Celine. Guys, look, she said pointing to a far corner of the warehouse. When they saw, they could see Kiba with serious injuries and unconscious. Issei, Kiba said running to help him. Fred. Oh, the brat, I don't know how he found us, but it wasn't a problem, he said mockingly. Issei. Damn, you regret it, he said angrily. Before continuing, a strange portal opened in the center of the place, capturing everyone's attention. Fred. What kind of trick is this? He said angrily. Irina. I've never seen anything like this, she said incredulously. Issei. That's it, he said incredulously. Angel. Celine. A portal to the digital world. Digital problems. The boys looked nervously at the portal as they did not know what could come out. Angel. Quick, Issei calls Riaz to take Kiba away, he said seriously. Issei. Yes, I'm coming, he said taking out a paper with a magic circle. I quickly activated the paper which began to glow a bright red. Zenobia. Come on, let's hand over the Excalibur, she said, attacking Fred with everything. Fred. I'm sorry, I can't do that or else the master will get angry, he said with his crazy smile. Asia. Where is Kakabiel, she said annoyed, creating an arc of light and pointing at the man. Galilei. Sorry, that's confidential information, he said while dodging the arrow. Asia. I'm not in the mood for games, she said, starting to shoot faster and faster. Galilei. He doesn't speak, he couldn't continue because a noise caught everyone's attention. Brewer, a loud roar came from the portal as a strange being began to emerge. Galilei. But what the hell is that? He said incredulously. Riaz. Issei, what's wrong? Why are you calling me? She couldn't continue because she and her entourage saw the Digimon come out completely. Issei. Riaz, quickly take Kiba away from here, he said nervously. Riaz. Kiba, but what happened to him? She said in shock. Issei. There's no time, go get it, he said seriously. Celine. Guys, Chrysalamine is one of the strongest adult Digimon, she said nervously, seeing a creature that looked like a cocoon with spikes. Angel. Old man, even with Tajimon we won't be able to defeat him, we have to use the others, he said seriously. Celine. Are you sure? She said nervously. Issei. We have no other alternative guys, I changed to Tamers, he said seriously, while the Digivolus of the three changed appearance. Bekeno. What are you planning to do? She said watching the boys take out a blue card. Issei Angel Celine. Card change. I see, Digivolus ah. Issei. Growlman said like a red dinosaur. Angel. Digivolus Angel ah. Angel. Gargamon said now like a rabbit with machine guns. Celine. Celine Digivolus ah. Celine. Kyuberman said like a nine-tailed fox. Rias. They are new to Digivolution, she said impressed. Bekeno. Rias, let's leave this in the hands of the boys, let's go, she said while she and Kaneko lifted Kiba. Rias. Good luck, I see. Balale. Come on Freed, let's take advantage of the situation, he said, starting followed by the albino. Zenobia. Damn, they're running away, she said, paying attention to both of them. Asia. We won't be able to catch up with Zenobia anymore, she said with disgust and resignation. Arena. Girls, you've seen them now, they've shown new forms, she said watching the battle with her companions. While they kept a safe distance to avoid getting in the way, the boys maintained a tough battle against the Digimon. Gargamon. We can't let him run loose, if he evolves he would be dangerous, he said seriously dodging a spike. Growlman. Yes, I know, but its resistance is amazing. Deep Cut, he said annoyed, trying to pierce the Digimon's shell. Kyuberman. My turn, burning dance, he said as he faded away and his tails lit up just like the enemy Digimon. Both attacks hit the target, but this shocked the boys, since they did not hurt him. Gargamon. Ah, this is frustrating, shrapnel shots, he said while firing again with his machine guns. Growlman. Nothing gives it away, he couldn't continue because Chrysalamine launched his spikes trapping the boys. Kyuberman. Ma damn it, it's trying to turn us into its food, she said, trying not to be dragged along. Growlman. We must resist, he said seriously. Gargamon. Easier said than done, he said annoyed. At that moment the portal began to open behind Chrysalamine. Growlman. Guys, I have an idea, said the dinosaur. Kyuberman. You were late, he said with difficulty. Gargamon. We are not here for ironies, I see dinos, he said seriously. Growlman. Let's use the portal against him, he said seriously. Gargamon. It's brilliant, but I have the problem that we are attached to it. If we throw it into the portal, it will take us with it, he said seriously. Kyuberman. Not exactly, he said it would be. Gargamon. What are you talking about, he said confused. Kyuberman. If we use the portal as a guillotine, he said it would be. Growlman. It's brilliant, we wait for the portal to start closing, and when that happens we throw it, and when the portal closes, it will cut its ties, he said seriously. Gargamon. Well, we don't have anything better, so we have to do it, he said, starting to put up more resistance. Zenobia. What are you trying to do? She said confused. Arena. They wait for the perfect moment, she said it would be. So the boys did their best to keep from crawling until the portal began to close, which didn't last long as it began to shrink in size. Digimon's arena. Now, they shouted decisively. The three of them pounced on him, giving him a strong blow, pushing him back, causing him to enter the portal again. Growlman. Come on, close it, he said nervously while the three of them resisted entering. After a few seconds that seemed like minutes, the portal closed and the bonds were cut and then turned to dust as the boys returned to their human form and fell to the ground. Issei. That was intense, he said somewhat exhausted. Angel. I can't believe there are three of us and we couldn't beat him, he said with disgust. Celine. I must admit that bothers me, but we must see the positive side. We prevented it from causing destruction in the city. I think it was a victory, she said somewhat happily. Issei. That's true, boo. Well, I think it's time to go home, he said standing up. Arena. Issei, are you guys okay? She said arriving with her friends. Issei. We're fine, just like you guys, he said calmly. Asia. They escaped, but don't worry, we will find them, she said determinedly. Issei. I see, well let's go, he said calmly. Angel. I see a Digig. Unknown location. We can see a pale man with red eyes talking to a completely black being. Becabiel. Then you can help me achieve my goal, he said seriously without looking away. Of course, if you trust me then we have a deal, he said seriously, while Becabiel smiled sadistically. Becabiel. Of course, Deviman. Pacing a fallen one. Rias. That's a Digig, she said incredulously seeing the egg in her club. Issei. That's right, Digimons are born from an egg, he said with a drop of sweat on his head. Rias. So you want us to take care of him before Nazca, she said curiously. Issei. Yes, I'm sorry to ask you this favor, he said nervously. Rias. No, don't worry, we can take care of it, she said happily. Issei. Thanks, listen, how is Kiba, he said curiously. He is. We already healed his wounds if he was really hurt, he said sadly. Issei. I see, calmly, he made his decision to look for him, you don't have to be sad, he said calmly. He is. I know, but I am his king, his mistress, and not being able to protect him or help him makes me feel useless, she said sadly. Issei. You are not useless, let that be clear to you, he said, holding her chin, making her stare at him. So Riaz, we have a problem, she said, entering without knocking, interrupting the couple's moment. Riaz. Yes, what's wrong? She said nervously. Sona. Kakabiel sent a challenge, she said seriously, showing a sheet of paper. Eris's Gremory and Citri, I send you a cordial greeting, and I also inform you that your territory will be destroyed unless you stop me, so I look forward to seeing you. If you want, you can call your brothers the Mao Lucifer or the Mao Leviathan. I'll be waiting for you tonight, Academician Kuo. At. Kakabiel. Riaz. Tonight, she said nervously. Issei. He is challenging them. If he is so determined, it is most likely that he has something prepared, we must be cautious, he said seriously. Riaz. You're right, we must finish off that crow. 7 hours later. We can see the two clans together with the Digimons and the church envoys in front of the academy entrance, ready for battle. Riaz. What is the plan, he said it would be. Issei. We must know how many opponents there are to know how to act, he said seriously. Saji. No matter how many there are, I will defeat them, including that idiot Kakabiel, he said with arrogance. Issei. Okay, aside from the nonsense, he said, someone really has a plan, he said seriously, angering Saji. Celine. Let Zenobia and Irina go against the crazy priest, Asia against that Galilei, the rest against the Kakabiel deer, and Issei against the crow, he said it would be. Sona. And who the hell put you in charge, and even more so giving orders, she said angrily. Riaz. It seems like a good plan to me, she said it would be. Zenobia. I think the same, she said, bothering the black-haired girl. Saji. Follow your stupid plan, Sona's entourage, and I will attack Kakabiel, he said seriously, moving forward with Sona's group. All. They are idiots. Battlefield. We can see Kakabiel sitting on his throne while everyone appeared in front of him. Kakabiel. Wow, what a great surprise if they came to my humble invitation, he said mockingly. Saji. Silence, crow, today you will be defeated by the powerful Siki. He could not continue because he was pierced by a spear of light. Kakabiel. What a noisy piece of trash, I can't believe you're the Red Emperor, he said with disgust. Riaz. Kakabiel, we came to stop you, she said it would be. Kakabiel. Seriously, don't make me laugh because you don't call Sirzich Serafel, he said seriously. Issei. Let's stop playing, Kakabiel, let's fight, he said seriously. Kakabiel. Look at the kids who can transform into Digimons, he said seriously. Issei. How do you know about that? He said, amazed, like his friends. I told him so, said a being appearing next to Kakabiel. Issei, Angel, Celine, Devaman, they said in shock. Devaman. Hello children, Banchaliaman is not here to help you, he said, launching an attack. Issei. Guys, time to Digivolve, he said, taking out his Digivis. Issei, Grayman. Angel. Gururimum. Celine. Tajiman. Kakabiel. Let's see if they are able to beat my little friends, he said, summoning 3 dogs with 3 heads. Thus the battle began with Riaz and her entourage fighting the Cerberus, while the church's envoys took care of Fred and company, and the good Citri entourage helping Saji. Brayman. How did you come to this world? He said seriously, launching his attack. Devaman. Just like you, he said, launching an attack destroying Graymans. Gururimum. No matter what your plans are, we will stop you, he said, lunging at him and biting him. Devaman. What an annoying flea-ridden dog, said, giving him a slap, sending him away. Hajiman. Cities. While this was happening, the church's envoys had fewer complications since the fusion of the Excalibur was not complete and Fred was easy prey, just like Galilei. Asia. It's over, old man, it's all over, give me the Excalibur, she said, pointing directly at the old man's head. Galilei. What's wrong with you? You don't understand all this. We opened up, he couldn't continue because Kakabiel also pierced him with a spear of light. Kakabiel. Don't talk too much, Galilei, he said seriously as the old man fell dead. Irina. Wow, how can you do that to your servants? She said incredulously. Kakabiel. He only removed the obstacles that I have with me. With Riaz and his entourage, they did keep 2 Cerberus at bay, since the other one went against the Citri clan, but they had complications with him. Devaman. It's the best you can do, don't make me laugh, tornado of darkness, he said furiously, creating a whirlwind, throwing the boys losing their transformations. Riaz, Issei, she screamed worriedly, seeing the brown-haired boy and his friends on the ground. The church trio quickly ran to help them. Devaman. Do it. Kakabiel reveals the great secret of your world, he said madly. Kakabiel. If it's time to reveal everything, he said madly. Rias. What the hell are you talking about? She said confused. Kakabiel. In the last Great War, the 4 original Mao lost their lives along with God, he said crazed, leaving everyone in shock. Rias. God is dead, she said incredulously. Zenobia. No, this is not true. The man cannot be dead. She said, falling to her knees like her companions. Irina. No, this is not true, it is a lie, she said without sparkles in her eyes. Devaman. Die tornado of darkness, he said launching his attack in the direction of the brunette. Issei. Irina. A huge light covered the place while the chestnut tree shone and took on a human form, but with wings. Ria's an angel. The emergence of light. Everyone was amazed by the imposing light that covered the battlefield. Irina. I see, it's you, she said in shock as her gaze gained its shine. After that the light dimmed, revealing an angel with his face covered. Irina, are you okay, said the angel calmly. At that moment the boy's Digivolution activated. Digivolution? Angel Anjuman said amazed. Anjuman. That's right, I am Anjuman, and I will take charge of finishing off you beings of darkness, he said, pointing to the fallen. Devaman. I'm not afraid of you, Dark Tornado, he said launching his attack. Anjuman didn't even flinch and summoned a golden staff to destroy the attack. Anjuman. They will pay for their crimes and for destroying the faith of the people. If God is dead, it was a sacrifice for humanity, and as long as there is faith in the people, miracles will continue, he said, while giving him a strong blow with a staff and attacking him. Asia. He is right, despite everything, miracles do not end, she said hopefully. Zenobia. That's right, the Lord still lives in our hearts, she said the same as her partner. Irina. That's why evil will never win, she said determinedly. The 3. Do it, Anjuman, they said loudly. Anjuman. Fist of Faith, he said launching a strong attack piercing Devaman's chest. Devaman. No, it can't be W, how did I lose, he said in shock as he turned into particles. Anjuman. Underestimating your rivals was your doom, he said seriously. Devaman. You think this is over, this is just the beginning. Ha 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 ha, he said frantically as he disappeared. Anjuman. Now you're the only one left, he said seriously looking at Kakabiel. Kakabiel. Please don't, he couldn't continue because a voice interrupted him. I'm coming for Kakabiel, said a serious voice. Everyone looked at a being with white armor and blue gems. Anjuman. Who are you and why do you want Kakabiel? He said seriously. I can't say who I am, but regarding Kakabiel, I have orders to capture him for his intentions of starting a new war between the factions, he said seriously. Anjuman. I see, then you can take it, he said moving away from the crow. Thank you, and if you excuse me I will also take that priest, he said, going for an unconscious Fred. Greg. You're ignoring me, White, said a voice from the arm of a wounded Saji. Albion. I see you're awake, read another voice said from the wings of the armor. Greg. Yes, although I regret to tell you that we will not be able to have our predestined battle. Rias. The 2 celestial dragons are talking, she said in amazement. Albion. Because you say so, he said curiously. Greg. Your wielder looks strong and can even use balance breaker, and mine is garbage, he is the worst wielder I have ever had, he said, leaving everyone surprised. Saji. Madam, how can you say that, he said angrily. This is a shame, I was really looking forward to fighting my rival, but if the Red Emperor himself admits his defeat, what a disappointment, he said seriously, rising into the sky and disappearing at high speed. At that moment Anjuman began to shine, returning to his human form. Rias. Issei, are you okay, she said worried about the brown-haired boy. Issei. Don't worry, I'm fine, I'm just a little tired, he said tired. Angel. Since it's not a new transformation you're not used to it, he said helping him. Irina. I see, thank you very much, said the blushing brunette. Issei. You don't have to thank me, I had to protect you all, he said tired. Zenobia. Issei, that transformation was spectacular, she said with admiration. Asia. It's true, I never thought there were Digimons that looked like angels, she said with stars in her eyes. Issei. I really don't know how I got that transformation, but I must master it, he said determinedly. Rias. Yes, but now you have to rest. Let's go home, she said happily. Sona. Wait, she said annoyed. Rias. Sona, what happens now, she said with some displeasure. Sona. It's unfair that you have the power of those things, and I don't demand that one of them be in my entourage, she said angrily. Celine. What the hell are you talking about? We are not part of any entourage. If we are with Rias, it is because she is friendlier than you, and she is not a show-off with airs of grandeur she said she would be. Angel. Besides, why do you need us if you have the powerful Security, he said mockingly. Rias. Grow up a little, sissy, and stop thinking you're the center of the universe. The next day. Guo Airport. We can see the Gremory entourage and the boys in front of the three girls from the church. Irina. I think it's time to go home she said with a sad smile. Rias. Irina, our sad ones can come whenever they want to visit us she said with a big smile. Issei. You will see that when we see each other again, I will be able to transform into Anjuman without any problem he said happily. Zenobia. Thank you for the help in this mission. I think we wouldn't have gotten out alive if it weren't for you. Thank you very much for showing me that not all demons are like I thought she said happily. Rias. And thank you for trusting us she said happily. Voice. Flight 341 bound for Rome, Italy boarding through Gate 2A. Asia. It's our flight she said a little sad. Boys. Goodbye and good luck they said happily watching the girls leave. Girls. Goodbye, take care. Issei. Rias where is Akeno he said curiously. Rias. He went to the club to look for some papers, I don't know what she said confused. Issei. It's a pity he couldn't come to say goodbye. Guo Academy Occult Club. We can see the brunette searching through Ria's desk. Akeno. Where did I leave them? If I don't find them, I won't be able to make the contract she said somewhat frustrated. Crash. The creaking sound was heard throughout the room, but the brunette didn't see anything strange until something caught her attention. Mother. Days of peace with many surprises. The boys were returning to the club after saying goodbye to the church representatives. Akeno Kai-Aya the black-haired girl shouted from the club, worrying the boys. Rias. Akeno screamed worriedly as everyone ran to the club. Upon entering they saw that Ria's seat was on the floor next to Akeno, who had a brown creature with orange hair. Rias. Akeno are you okay? She said worriedly, but when she did, the creature became defensive. Issei. So it finally opened he said seriously. Rias. You mean the Digiegg she said confused. Issei. That's right, I thought it would take longer, now we have a small problem he said thoughtfully. Hiba. What do you mean I see he said confused. Issei. You will see how any animal in the human world when born, the first thing it sees becomes its mother he said nervously. Rias. So since Akeno was the first thing he saw she said nervously. Akeno. He thinks I'm his mother she said in shock. Issei. I'm afraid so he said nervously. Kaneko. And what is your name? She said curiously, watching how the Digimon became calmer. Celine. Pukeman aquatic Digimon said looking at the Digivis. Akeno Pukeman A she said lifting the little one. Pukeman. Mom he said raising his fins. Akeno. Kaya is so cute she said hugging him tightly. Angel. Wow, I thought you would react differently he said with a drop of sweat on his head. Issei. Akeno doesn't mind me seeing you as a mother he said curiously. Akeno. No, none, although I do have a little problem she said curiously. Issei. Which one he said curiously. Akeno what do you eat? 2 days later. In those days the boys had some peace without Digimons without renegades they could have peace in addition, the other Digimons became friends with Pukeman, making him a little more independent from Akeno, the only thing that bothered the boys was seeing Sona's upset face all the time, but today was a special day since today was Parents' Day at the academy. Issei. So your parents and sister are coming he said curiously. Rias. It's very annoying to have the three of them here watching me, she said depressed. Issei. Come on, take that face off, it'll be fun he said with a smile. You're the boy who can become an angel, aren't you? Said a voice, putting everyone on alert. Issei. Who are you? He said seriously looking at an albino boy. Oh excuse my manners my name is Bali, and I am the hacker Yuku he said seriously to the surprise of the boys. Issei. I see and what is it that you want he said seriously. Bali. I'm not really going to challenge you to a fight he said seriously. Issei. What are you talking about he said seriously taking out his Digivis. Bali. It's not obvious considering that the current Sekirute is garbage, I must look for another to be my rival, and you have a power never seen before he said seriously. Issei. Even so, I have no intention of fighting for no reason he said seriously. Bali. We'll see about that he said seriously as he disappeared. Issei. This doesn't give me a good feeling. So the boys continued with their day doing the different activities of the day in question, where Issei excelled in the sculpture activity by making Greymon, Anjuman and Gilman in the same sculpture. Issei. What's going on? He said confused as he saw many boys running like crazy to the gym. Rias. I don't know, let's see she said curiously. Everyone was curious and when they arrived they could see a girl with pigtails wearing a magical girl costume while everyone looked at her. Angel. And it's ridiculous that he said with a WTF face. Rias. There won't be a day when he doesn't start drawing attention he said with a frustrated face. Issei. Wait, you know her I said curiously. Rias. If it's Arafo, Sona's older sister and another Mao like my sister she said heavily. Angel. She really is a Mau, but what the hell is wrong with demons, he said incredulously. Issei. The truth is I wonder if she really is the older sister, he said incredulously. Serafal. But look how funny it is, she said a bit amused. Riaz. You've finished your show, she said heavily. Serafal. What's wrong? Aren't you happy to see me? She said while pretending to be sad. Riaz. What do you want, she said it would be. Serafal. Oh, how bitter, well I want one of them to join my sister's entourage, she said with authority. Celine. Another one with the same stupid idea, she said with frustration. Siri. Why don't you leave the Serafal boys alone? Said the retard with authority. Serafal. Siri, this is none of your business, she said annoyed. Issei. We don't have to join your spoiled sister's clan, you understand, so if you can do me the favor of stopping bothering us, we will appreciate it, he said with disgust. Serafal. How dare you insult my little sister, she said with annoyance. Benalana. Don't even think about it, Serafal. You or anyone else has to give orders to the boys, much less threaten them. They made their decision and you must respect it, said the Gremory matriarch appearing next to her husband. Zeoticus. Besides, I don't know why you want the boys, you have the powerful Sekiruite, right? He said seriously but with a certain mocking touch. Serafal. TSK, this won't stay like this, she said annoyed, leaving the place. Issei. Hey, seriously, that whole family is the same, he said heavily. Gremory. I'm afraid so, they said depressed. Siri. Well guys, now that we have a little time I would like to talk about an important topic, he said a bit seriously. Issei. Yes, of course it's happening, he said somewhat confused like the rest. Siri. You will see with what recently happened with Kakabiel, the tension between the three biblical factions increased and that is why the leaders will meet here soon for a meeting, he said it would be. Issei. And what will happen at the meeting, he said curiously. Syrian alliance. Unknown location. In one part of the world a portal opened revealing three people. A muscular man, a gothic girl and a boy with rebellious touches. It's time to kill Issei and his friends. Meeting of factions. The days passed and now everything was ready for the meeting. During that time, Riaz revealed the existence of one more member of her entourage. Flashback. Issei. Hey, but why do you never take out that member of your entourage who is very dangerous, he said curiously while looking at a padlocked door. Riaz. Not exactly, she said with a nervous smile opening the padlock. No, please go away, leave me alone, said a voice from under some sheets. Riaz. Come on Gasper, it's time for you to leave, she said pulling the sheets revealing a scared girl. Gasper. Please but you, I'm not afraid, he said scared. Issei. What a peculiar girl, he said curiously with his companions. Gasper. Who are they? He said nervously. Riaz. He is Issei, Angel and Celine are new friends of the club, although they are not part of the entourage, she said calmly. Issei. Hello Gasper, nice to meet you and I hope we can get along, he said happily. Gasper. Yes, I think, he said nervously. Celine. I don't understand, she doesn't seem to have anything strange, she said curiously. Gasper. Edo, I'm a boy, he said nervously. Digimons. What, they shouted in disbelief. Issei. Boo, but since you look like a girl you dress like one, he said incredulously. Gasper. Girl clothes make me look prettier, he said sadly. Angel. Okay, I'm leaving this damn anime world making us doubt our sexuality because of characters like him, he said incredulously. Issei. What the hell are you talking about, what anime world? He said confused like the others. Angel. Forget it, he said resignedly. Riaz. Okay, Gasper, it's time to start your training. Then flashback. Since that day the boys have tried to help Gasper with his fear of the world and to use his powers, but now what interests us is the meeting of the biblical factions. Guo Academy Student Council. In the Great Council Chamber were the Mass Lucifer and Leviathan, together with their sisters' entourages and the Digimons, until two magic circles appeared. From the first one came a blonde man with a calm look, accompanied by the three church emissaries who happily greeted Issei and company. From the second one appeared a black-haired man with blonde locks next to Vali, who looked seriously at the brown-haired man. Siri. Nice to see you, Michael, Azazel said the retard calmly. Issei, so he's the one in charge of the sky, how, he thought curiously looking at the blonde. Michael. I'm also glad that this meeting was able to take place, the man said calmly. Azazel. Yes, of course, well the reason for the meeting is because of what happened with Kakabiel a few days ago and where he apologized to me for his actions, he said relaxed. Michael. I'm glad you didn't have the same ideas as that madman, but we don't know how the rest of your faction is doing, he said calmly. Azazel. Well, yes, there are some who want things similar to Kakabiel's, but we are already taking care of that, he said seriously. Michael. Well, with that said, I would like the Grimoire heiress to corroborate the events that occurred during the battle, since I am intrigued to know who Kakabiel's ally was, he said seriously. Thus the Redeed continued to tell the facts and how, working together with the Digimons and the church's envoys, they were able to defeat Kakabiel. Also with the conviction, she revealed the existence of the Digimons and how dangerous they can be, and that Issei and company were here to stop them. Michael. What beings from another world, he said incredulously. Azazel. Well, this makes it clear that we must be alert for anything, but I have a question, said the black-haired man. Rias. Which one, she said curiously. Azazel. More than for you, it is for the Citri heiress, because you did not help in the battle, he said seriously. Sire. It's true that Rias mentioned Issei and his friends and Michael's 3 escorts and how the young Vali appeared to take Kakabiel, but you, she said curiously looking at the black-haired girl. Sona. Well, I know we, she said nervously. Rias. They stayed to take care of the Sekir'Yuute, who was defeated by a single spear of light from Kakabiel, he said it would be. Everyone was shocked by what the Redeed said. Serafal. That has to be a lie, she said angrily. Issei. It's not true, we all saw that for showing off a spear of light he almost killed him, he said seriously. Zenobia. The Grimoire heiress is right, she said seriously while her companions nodded. Sire. Boo, well, let's leave that aside because we are not continuing with the peace treaty, she said nervously. Azazel. I thought it was for the best, so for this I would like to know the opinion of the celestial dragons, he said seriously looking at the boys. Ali. I don't care as long as I can fight with strong beings, he said disinterestedly. Saji. Well, I prefer peace, he said nervously. Michael. Well, that's what I said, he couldn't finish because the sky flew into pieces. Hello, fake mass, said a dark-haired woman angrily. Serafal. Kateria, what are you doing? She said angrily. Kateria. I'm coming for your lives and to claim what is rightfully mine, she said angrily. Here the same thing will happen as in the Anaim, Vali eliminating the magicians and Azazel defeating the Kateria, but this time he only leaves her unconscious since Vali attacked him. Ali. Sorry Azazel, but this side is more fun, he said seriously. Azazel. Because it doesn't surprise me, after all you are a descendant of Lucifer, he said seriously while Vali showed his demonic wings. Ali. That's why I'm the strongest Hakuryuiku of all, but for me bad luck, the Sekir'Yuute is garbage, so facing Hyoudou Issei, he said seriously. Saji. No, I am your rival and I will kill you, he couldn't continue because Vali threw a power at him. Ali. If you're not going to fight, I'll force you, he said, creating a small sphere of power and sending it like a laser against Rias. All. Laugh, they screamed when they saw the Redeed being pierced in the chest by the attack. Everyone ran to her, but Issei stood still. Issei. Rias. Vip vip. A Digivolus was activated, but Issei transformed into Greymon while a dark energy covered him while Ria's necklace glowed. Angel. Issei screamed while everyone looked at him. Upon seeing, they could see how Issei obtained a rather terrifying skeletal form. Selene. Corrupted Digivolution. Despair. Everyone looked with a little fear at the skeletal Digimon in front of them. Angel. Skullgreymon said nervously. Akeno. What do you mean, corrupted Digivolution, she said nervously. Angel. It's when a Digimon evolves incorrectly to what it should be, resulting in an abomination, he said nervously, looking at the being. Sire. But why did this happen? She said worriedly while Asia healed Rias. Selene. Most likely, seeing Rias being attacked by Vali Issei awakened a great hatred that made him evolve into that thing, she said nervously. Azazel. And how will we stop him? He said a little nervously. Angel. Go, we'll take care of it, he said a little seriously. Kaneko. Are you sure he can kill you, she said worried. Selene. We have no choice, she said it would be. Vali. Wow, you look scary and ugly. Let's fight, she said, throwing herself at him. Skullgreymon grew roared loudly, launching himself against him. Vali began launching a large number of attacks that were of no use since the skeleton remained as if nothing had happened. Vali. Incredible, he couldn't continue because Skullgreymon slammed it away. Skullgreymon crouched down and from his back a fish-shaped missile shot out at Vali, creating a huge explosion. More or less like this. Everyone looked on in fear as he treated Vali like a mere game as he looked at them. Rias. I see, she said weakly. Sire. Laugh, it's good that you're okay, she said hugging her sister. Skullgreymon. Grew roared again, throwing another punch. Everyone dodged the Digimon's attack and saved one person, who was Akeno. Pukeman. Mama, the little one shouted while a light covered him. Pukeman Digivol's Agamaman, he said in his new form. The little boy managed to push the brunette away, saving her from the impact. Akeno. Pukeman Digivolview, she said seeing the little one's new form. Angel. Let's go, he said seriously while they both transformed. Hajiman. Rain of Thorns, he said spinning and launching his attack. Silent tornado, he said seriously, launching his attack. Both attacks hit their target but did no damage, the only thing they achieved was to enrage the Digimon. Skullgreymon. Gruer. The Supernaturals watched worriedly as no matter how hard they tried, their efforts to stop the Digimon were useless. Rias. This is my fault for my weakness. Issei is like this, she said with tears. Vilman. Tomato-chan, that's not true, this is not your fault, said the little one appearing with his friends. Rias. Vilman said, wiping away her tears a little. Vilman. Issei Nai-sama is like this because he couldn't help her and she got hurt. He felt useless and that's why he released that monster's form, but I know that Angel and Celine will be able to stop him, he said happily watching the battle. In the distance. That happens when an incompetent carries the power of a Digimon, said a gothic girl with an umbrella. The truth is that this disappoints me a little, said a muscle with a strange nod. I expected more from Hyoudou, but I see that he can't even control an ultra evolution, said the boy with a thug look. Celine, I want you to go with the others and get out of here, he said seriously with wounds all over his body. Digimon. You're crazy, I will never leave you alone against that thing, she said angry and worried. Do it won't do any good if we both die here, he said angrily. Digimon tried to reproach, but Garurumum looked at her angrily, causing her to start running. Rias. Digimon, what are you doing, she said worried. Digimon returned to his human form while crying. Celine. He wants us to leave, she said with tears. While this was happening, Garurumum was being slammed against the floor as blood came out of his mouth. Garurumum. You know I would do this all day, he said standing up, blocking the skeleton's way. Skullgreymon. Gruer, he roared loudly, launching his missile. Ball. Angel, they screamed in shock watching the missile go towards him. Garurumum. No matter what you try, I will get up again and again until I make you react, no matter if I lose my life, and you know why, because that's what friends do, he said decisively. Rias. That's it, she said in shock. Celine. The light of Digivolution, she said in shock as some words came to her mind. Angeliaman. When the time comes, they will find the true reason to evolve. Cities. Ultra Digivol cities AHHH. Garurumum said in his new form. Everyone couldn't believe how the boy's appearance had changed. Skullgreymon. Gruer here roared angrily, launching another missile since the first one was easily dodged. Garurumum. You don't know that a technique doesn't work twice against the same opponent, he said thinking, jumping and holding the missile, changing its direction. The missile hit the skeleton, leaving it wounded, while the wolf connected with a strong kick, knocking it down. Garurumum. Come on, I'll finish this, he said, hitting him several times. Rias. Stopping is hurting Issei, she said worriedly. Celine. No, he is weakening him to return him to normal, she said hopefully. Garurumum. I hope it helps Issei. Wolf howl, he said while slashing with his claws. Skullgreymon Gruer, he let out a loud roar and began to glow, turning back into Greymon and then into Issei, who fell unconscious. Quickly everyone ran to where the chestnut tree was. Rias. Issei, please answer, she said worriedly, shaking the brown-haired boy. Garurumum. Calm down, she's unconscious, he said a little tired. This relief to most saved the Citri clan as they were once again left in bad shape as the Securiute was of no use. Celine. You are a sniff tone, said the blonde with tears hitting the Digimon. Garurumum. I'm sorry if you worried. Boo, he couldn't continue because he returned to normal and you could see how tired he was. Celine. Angel, are you okay? She said worriedly, watching the black-haired boy fall into her arms. Angel. But we did it. Digimon world. We could see an imposing lion with a humanoid appearance sitting in a lotus position looking at the sky. Angeliaman. I hope that with what happened you are ready for what is coming. Sadness and doubts. The meeting ended and the leaders established their alliance, deciding to leave, while Rias and company took the two boys to their house to rest. They only had the pending issue of not having been able to find any trace of Vali. Gremory residence. We see the Gremory group with Celine and the Digimons. The Keno. Oh my little one, thank you for saving me, she said while caressing Gamamon. Gamamon. You don't have to thank me, it's my duty to protect you, he said with a big smile. Rias. Celine, are you okay? She said, confused seeing how the girl had her gaze down. Celine. No, it's nothing, she said looking away. The Keno. Celine, we are friends now and friends don't keep secrets from each other, please tell us what's going on, she said warmly while holding the blonde's hands. Celine. I'm useless, she said simply while tears came out of her face. Rias. Celine, what are you talking about? She said confused. Celine. I'm useless, I wasn't helpful in the battle, they almost lost their lives and I'm like, what's the point of having these powers if I'm not good enough to use them? She said sadly as her crying became louder. Renamen. No Nasama, don't cry, said the little girl running towards the blonde trying to calm her crying. Rias. What are you talking about? You are not useless, we are, she said, a little angry while the blonde looked at her with confusion. Celine. What do you mean? She said without understanding. Rias. You have the power to fight against those things, and I know very well that if the moment had required it, you would have also reached the ultra stage, but we would have died. I was pierced by an attack from the hacker Yuku, she said it would be. The Keno. If it weren't for Gamaman, I would be on the verge of death or just plain dead, she said thoughtfully. Kaneko. I was scared to death, and I wouldn't have done anything to help in the fight, she said calmly. Gasper. We too, they said thoughtfully. Rias. You understand now, lift your spirits and do your best to be on their level, she said it would be. Celine. You're right, it's not time to complain, she said, wiping away her tears. Rias. Exactly, it's time to get stronger. 2 days later. Things have been calm in the city, there was only one problem with Digimons, but Celine was able to take care of it since in those 2 days the boys have not woken up, something that is beginning to worry everyone. Rias. Issei, I hope you get better, I don't want you to leave me, she said, caressing the boy's cheek. Iridide tried not to cry because of the helplessness of not being able to do anything to help the brown-haired boy. Gilman. Tomato-chan, you are here, he said curiously looking at Iridide. Rias. Hi Gilman, what's up? She said calmly, trying to simulate her sadness. Gilman. I see that you care a lot about Takato, he said calmly getting on the bed. Rias. What can I say, my first friend and someone very special to me, she said with a sad smile. Gilman. I see Takato, wake up, you worry your girlfriend, he shouted surprising and blushing the girl. Rias. Gilman, don't shout, we must let, she couldn't continue because a voice interrupted her. Issei. Gilman, I already told you that you are very noisy, he said weakly, opening his eyes slowly. Rias. Issei, she screamed happily throwing herself at him and hugging him. Issei. Rias, how good that you are okay, he said reciprocating the hug. Rias. Issei sniff, you're okay, sniff, she said crying without letting go of the brown-haired boy. Gilman. Takato, are you okay, he said jumping to his head. Issei. I'm glad to see you and that you're okay, he said calmer. Rias. I must tell the others that they will be very happy, she said, running off followed by Gilman. Issei. They are so alike. 5 minutes later. We see the entire Grimory Club gathered in front of the brown-haired boy. Issei. Where is Angel and Celine, he said distressed. Angel. Here we are, friend, he said somewhat tired, entering with Celine who was helping him walk. Celine. Issei, how good it is to see you awake, she said happily. Issei. Now that we are all here, could you tell me what happened? He said confused. Angel. You don't remember anything, he said confused. Issei. The last thing I remember is that Rias was attacked by that damn volley, from there everything turned white and nothing else, he said nervously. Celine. Boo, well you became a corrupt Digimon, and Angel had to stop you reaching his ultra form, and you also defeated that idiot, but we don't know if he died, she said nervously while the brown-haired boy looked down. Issei. So I became a corrupted Digimon, he said sadly looking at his Digivolution. Angel. That doesn't matter, everything is back to normal and we're fine, so let's leave that behind and focus on the present, do you want? He said calmly. Issei. I think you're right, he said not very convinced. Angel. I like that a lot, ready Nara, let's become more powerful, he said happily while the whole club got excited. Issei. Yes of course we have to be stronger. Unknown location. We still see a very injured albino slowly opening his eyes, seeing that he was in a rather strange place, very similar to a cave. Bali, where am I? He said confused. You are safe and thanks to me you are not dead, said a voice that echoed throughout the cave. Bali, who show me who you are, he said seriously trying to get up, but the pain from his wounds didn't allow him. Wow, you are ungrateful, after all I was the one who saved you, said the voice again. Bali. Well, I'm sorry about this, now tell me who you are, he said seriously. You see, it was hard for you to ask for things with a little more kindness, he said seriously while a group of bats began to gather in one part of the place. Bali. What the heck? He said completely confused upon seeing a shadowy person with a humanoid appearance. It's a pleasure to introduce myself, I'm Myatisman. Journey to the Underworld. Issei. You want us to go to the Underworld, scream in shock. Rias. If mom and dad want us to spend the holidays there, in addition to being able to train more efficiently, then go ahead, she said calmly. Celine. I don't think it's a bad idea, she said thoughtfully. Issei. Well, I don't think it's a bad idea, but what will happen if a Digimon appears in the city, he said curiously. Everyone remained silent since what the brown-haired man had said was true. Angel. Before leaving, I could create a device that serves as a frequency transmitter. When a portal is about to open, it will send us the signal, and we can come long before the Digimon causes great damage, he said calmly while looking out the window. Rias. You see, everything is solved, she said happily while everyone nodded. Issei. Okay, we'll go to the Underworld. 2 days later. The boys were preparing everything for the trip while Issei and Angel placed the devices in different parts of the city for greater range. Issei. That's it, remember that Ria's asked us to be on time, he said looking at his friend. Angel. It's almost a little more and we're done, he said calmly. Issei. It's about time now, he couldn't continue because he saw 3 familiar silhouettes. Angel. Earth to Issei. Hey, what's going on, he said, trying to get the brown-haired boy's attention. Issei. So if you're sorry, let's go, we have to hurry, he said turning around and starting to walk, but in a nervous manner. Issei. No, it can't be them, they are dead. A little far from the place. Haoki. He almost discovered us, he said calmly. Nanami. Why didn't we attack them? There were only 2 of them, and they are very weak, said the girl curiously. Ivan. With so many people this would be chaos, he said seriously. Haoki. Neglect everything, we will kill you soon. 2 hours later. The boys boarded a strange train where they entered a strange place, understanding that they were already in hell. Amaman. Mom, what is that place? He said looking out the window. Bekeno. That is the city of Lilith, that is our destination, she said calmly. Issei. Where is Rias, he said curiously. Hineko. I don't know, a few seconds ago saw she couldn't continue because a strong tremor shook the train. Kiba. What's going on, he said confused. Before anyone could answer, the train disappeared and the boys fell into a kind of ravine surrounded by mountains. Celine. Okay, that wasn't nice, she said angrily, standing up and helping the rest. Brewer. The boys were surprised by a large purple dragon that saw them as its lunch. Asper. Boo, but how big, he said scared. Bekeno. With the lack of Rias here as their queen, I will take the leadership, she said it would be taking out her wings. Hineko. Kiba. Gasper. Yes, they said in unison. Angel. Time to act, he said taking out his Digivolution. So he and Celine evolved into Garurumam and Tajimon. Garurumam. Issei. What is waiting, he couldn't continue because the dragon connected a strong blow. Issei. Aye, he said nervously looking at his Digivolution. Angel. You digivolved into a corrupt firm, the voice in the boy's head echoed. Issei. What if it happens again and I become corrupt, he thought scared. Ooh. The loud explosion brought him out of his thoughts, watching as the Redeed's entire entourage and her companions fought the dragon. Azazel. I think that's enough, he said appearing above next to Rias. Bekeno. What's going on here? She said confused like the rest. Rias. This was a test to see what level they are at and how their teamwork is, she said calmly. Angel. Oh, thanks, you should have let me know, he said with disgust. Rias. I'm sorry, but if I had warned you, you probably wouldn't have used your full strength, she said sadly. Celine. You have a good point, she said calmly. Azazel. Thank you for everything, Tannen, he said looking at the dragon. Tannen. You're welcome, but I'm glad to see that even though there are few of you talking about the Gremory clan, you have more guts than others, he said seriously. Bekeno. What do you mean? She said confused. Tannen. You see, they also did this test to the Citri clan, and even with their king they couldn't do anything, they thought that with the Sekiryuite they could defeat me, and it's a shame that the Red Emperor is complete trash, she said, seriously surprising everyone. Azazel. Well, let's go back to the train, he said calmly while the dragon was leaving. So everyone got on the train and continued their journey while chatting. Angel. You knew about the test, he said looking at the brown-haired boy. Issei. Why, he said confused. Angel. Don't pretend that's why you didn't transform, right? You knew it was a test, didn't you? He said curiously. Issei. Yeah, sure, I didn't say anything because Rias would get mad at me, he said with a nervous smile. Angel. I see, although I would have liked to see a fight between Greymon and him, it would have been spectacular, he said calmly. Issei. Yes, I think so too, he said nervously. Rias. Okay guys, we're here, she said it would be. So the boys began their descent, seeing an imposing waterfall larger than the one they had in the human world. Angel. Don't you think that, he said nervously. Celine. It's a little bit, she said the same way. Issei. Great, he said completing the sentence. Rias. Not like you think, I think she's perfect, she said happily. So everyone entered, seeing a crowd of stewards and maids bowing to them. Then Alana. Hi guys, it's good that you're here, said the brown-haired girl in a gentle manner next to her husband. Zeoticus. Welcome to the Underworld. Digimon world. We see Banchaleaman in front of a large humanoid-shaped Digimon. Makuraman. So you think he can help them in their battle in that world, he said seriously. Banchaleaman. That's right, he will be of great help to the boys, he said seriously. Makuraman. Okay, soldiers, come here, said the imposing Digimon. Milikas. What's going on? Said a red-haired boy who looked like Rias. Makuraman. Get ready, you have a mission, he said seriously. Milikas. What is it about? he said somewhat confused. Makuraman. You will go to the human world. The pain of the past. Unknown location. We see Volley Lucifer next to Maya Tisman looking at a blue-haired man with a serious look. Then you can help me unleash Ragnarok, said the blue-haired man looking at the Digimon. Maya Tisman, of course, then we have a deal, Loki, he said seriously, being his hand. Loki. Deal, Maya Tisman. Underworld Gremory Castle. We see everyone asleep in the castle except for a brown-haired boy who was looking out a window. Rias. What are you doing awake? Said the Retid curiously. Issei. Hey, sorry, I couldn't sleep, and you, he said looking at the Retid. Rias. I wanted a glass of water, she said calmly. Issei. I see, he said with his sad look. Rias. Issei, what have you been doing these last few days? I've seen you sad, she said, worried about her lover. Issei. No, it's nothing, he said looking away. Rias. Please don't lie to me, I can see it in your eyes, she said holding him by his cheeks, making him look at her. Issei. Aye, he said with great sadness, trying to look away. Rias. Issei, I love you, and seeing you like this hurts me, she said sadly. Issei. I'm scared, he said with his head down. Rias. I'm afraid that you're afraid, she said confused. Issei. Of losing control, of becoming corrupt again, of hurting you, he said hugging the Retid as he began to cry. Rias couldn't believe what she heard, her weakness caused all this, she caused Issei to become corrupted because of her, Issei is afraid. Rias. I see, forgive me, she said with a broken voice. Issei. What are you talking about, he said without understanding. Rias. I am the only one to blame for everything, sniff, because of me you became corrupted, sniff, because of me all this happened, she said, starting to cry. Issei. No, this wasn't your fault, he said incredulously. Rias. Yes, it's true that I was weak, that's why Volley almost killed me, and that caused your corruption, she said without stopping crying, while the brown-haired boy tried to calm her down, so as not to wake up the others. Issei. Laugh, or please don't cry, I've already calmed down, please, he said nervously and sadly, seeing what his stupidity and fear caused. Rias. Issei, you don't deserve to be with someone strong who doesn't always depend on, she couldn't, because Issei kissed her suddenly. But her less so. Issei. You're the one I want to be with. The next day. The boys were having lunch peacefully, Issei was a little calmer, trying to prevent Rias from feeling sad. Then Alana. Then they will go to train, she said curiously. Rias. Yes mom, the raiding game season is about to start and we have to be in shape, she said calmly. So the breakfast continued normally, but Issei could notice a family photo where younger Rias could be seen with her sister and her parents, but the strangest thing was a red-haired baby in Venelana's arms. Rias. Well, it's time to go, she said seriously. Issei. Hey Rias, who is he? He said curiously, pointing at the photo. Rias looked at the photo and lowered her head as her face turned sad. Issei. Rias, what's wrong, he said confused. Rias. He was my brother, she said sadly. Issei. It was, he said confused. Sorry. That's right, it was 10 years ago, my little brother, who was only 1 year old, disappeared, and for more than 5 years we searched for him by land and sea, until we had to give him up for dead, she said sadly, hugging her sister who couldn't speak. Issei. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked, he said sadly. Rias. It doesn't matter, we had to understand that we would never see him again, she said, looking up. Issei. I understand, and what was your name, he said curiously. Sorry Rias. Milikas. Digital world. We still see the Retid very nervous, packing his things to travel to the human world. Are you sure you want to do it? Said a Digimon with a female voice. Milikas. Yes mom, I have to do this eventually, and it depends on me to help them, he said, seeing a female Digimon. Okay, but promise me you'll be careful, she said worriedly. Milikas. I promise you, he said hugging the Digimon. Eventually. Well, boy, it's time to go. Underworld. We see the Gremory clan in different parts of the Underworld training in different ways, some with teachers, others alone trying to increase their power. On the other hand, the Digimon looked serious as they transformed into their Digimon form, saved Issei. Dururimum. You'll tell me right now what the hell is wrong with you, he said furiously in front of Issei. Issei. I don't know what you're talking about, he said nervously. Dururimum. Don't play dumb, because the hell you don't use your Digimon form, he said angrily. Issei. I don't understand the question, he said nervously. Dururimum. What's wrong? Don't tell me you're a coward who lost his fighting spirit, he said facing him. Issei. I won't fall for that silly game, he said nervously. Dururimum. I understand, you're pathetic, now I realize that you were always a coward who looked for a small complication in the battle to get away from this, he said angrily. Hajiman. Guys, please stop, she said nervously. Dururimum. Silence, now that he is not here we can do what we want regardless of what they tell us, he said seriously. Issei. What are you talking about, he said confused. Dururimum. Now we will make our own decisions, and the first thing will be to kill that retard, he said seriously. Issei. Stop the nonsense, he said angrily. What are you going to do now? You'll just be like a pathetic human. I asked myself what it would taste like when I chewed it. I hope it doesn't give me indigestion, he said, passing his tongue between his teeth. Issei, shut up, stop the nonsense, he said angrily. What are you going to do? You want to teach me a lesson? Come try it, coward, he said seriously. The chestnut lit up, turning into Grayman. Brewer here roared furiously, attacking the wolf. Hajiman. She said worriedly. Come on, get up and defend yourself, he said angrily. Haha, finally, until you did it, he said seriously. What, he said confused. You think I didn't notice your fear when you became corrupted? I saw that only if I bothered you would you come to your senses, he said seriously. You knew it, he couldn't continue because a strange portal opened in the sky. A portal to the digital world. Family reunion. The boys were incredulous as they watched a red-haired boy emerge from that strange portal and suddenly fall in front of them. A human, he said confused. Milikas. Greetings, you must be Banchaliaman students, right? Said the boy seriously. How do you know that? He said confused as the three returned to normal. Milikas. He and Mikuraman sent me to help them, the boy said calmly. Issei. Wait, Mikuraman, the Digimon that guards the north of the digital world, he said seriously. Celine. If it's true, I heard that they say that along with Banchaliaman, they are the most powerful Digimon, she said thoughtfully. Milikas. That's right, and as I told you, they made the decision to send me here, he said, showing his Digivolution. Issei. I see, by the way, what your name is, he said curiously. Milikas. My name is Milikas, he said seriously. I see Milikas. 5 hours later. The Gremory clan had gathered at the entrance of the house, waiting for the return of the boys who could be seen in the distance, but were confused when they saw a red-haired boy next to them. Rias. Hey guys, who is he? She said confused. Issei. He's a boy who came from the digital world to help us, he said nervously. Rias. I see, nice to meet you, I'm Rias Gremory, she said greeting the boy. Milikas. Nice to meet you, Miss Gremory. I'm Milika, said Cortez, leaving the retreat in shock. Rias. My Milika said you said, she said incredulously. Milikas. If I said that, there is a problem, he said confused. Rias. No, it's nothing, she said turning around and starting to walk. Issei looked worriedly at the girl, he knew it was a very big coincidence that that boy and Ria's lost brother had the same name. After a while, the boys sat down to have dinner, talking about different topics. Siri. Well guys, in a few days a meeting of young demons will take place, and in addition the alliance between the 3 biblical factions and the Nordic faction will be established, and I want you to attend, he said happily. Issei. Okay, I don't see any problem, he said calmly. Then Alana. Excuse me, but I would like to know the name of our new guest, she said curiously looking at the retreat. Issei. I think that he couldn't continue because the retreat spoke. Milikas. With pleasure, my name is Milikas, he said bowing. After what the boy said, the Gremory were in shock while Venelana began to shed tears. Venelana. It will be possible, she said standing up and going with the boy. Milikas. Excuse me, he said confused. Without saying anything, the brunette hugged him while crying because something told her that he was her son. Venelana. You are my son, sniff my little sniff after so long, she said without stopping crying. Milikas. What are you talking about? I'm not your son, he said angrily, moving away from her. Venelana. No, Milikas, you are my. She did not continue because the boy interrupted her. Milikas. Stop talking nonsense, I am a Digimon, I am the son of Virtualman, and that is why, unlike the 3 of them, I have my own power, he said, releasing a crimson power while his eyes turned red, an act that surprised everyone. Siri. That's it, he said in shock. Rias. The power of destruction, she said incredulously. Issei. So if he is his son, he thought confused. Milikas didn't say anything and left the place quite upset. Angel. I'll go look for him, he said, going after him. Everything fell silent, the only thing that could be heard were the sobs of the Gremory matriarch who was comforted by her husband. Issei. I need to find answers. Digital world. We see the Digimon that Milikas was talking to before leaving, sitting looking at a photo. Flashback. 10 years ago. The Digimon walked through the forest collecting fruit in a basket. Virtualman. Wow, this year winter will come earlier, she said calmly watching the white snowfall from the sky. Wag wag wah, a strange noise caught the Digimon's attention. After a few seconds and somewhat far from where he was, he saw a small lump. Virtualman. But who could have left someone here? She said lifting the bundle, seeing that it was a strange red-haired being who was crying until he saw her and calmed down. The little Reed slowly calmed down as the Digimon smiled at him until she could see a necklace that had something written on it. Virtuelman Milikas. Then flashback. Virtuelman, my little one, I hope you come back safely. The XD world. Underworld Gremory Castle. Milikas. What the hell is wrong with that woman? He said in front of a large field of flowers. Angel. You must understand her, she lost her son, and you happen to be called like him, he said seriously. Milikas. But you must understand that I am a Digimon, he said seriously. Angel. Really, but you don't even have the ending of a Digimon, he said seriously. Milikas. What the hell are you talking about, he said confused. Angel. Greymon, Garurumon, Tajimon, Gamamon, Gilmon, Renaemon, Vemon, Mikuramon, Banchuliamon, Virtuelmon, doesn't the same ending sound familiar to you? Mon, he said seriously. Milikas. And that's it, he said seriously. Angel. You don't understand, right? You're not a Digimon. Inside the castle. Everyone retreated to their rooms as Issei walked by, one looking at an excited Loli who seemed to be having nightmares. Issei Kaneko said worried. Rias. She's overexerting herself, she said appearing next to him. Issei. You laugh at what are you talking about, he said confused. Rias. Issei Kaneko is a Nekomata, a half-human, half-cat being, but she wants to demonstrate her strength without resorting to her feline side, she said sadly. Issei. Because, he said confused. Rias. Because of her sister, they belong to the same clan, but her power-hungry sister murdered her king, becoming a renegade demon. This caused fear in Kaneko, thinking that she would become like her sister, so she hides her true form because of that fear, she said sadly, remembering when she met Kaneko. Issei. I see, poor Kaneko, she doesn't deserve this, he said sadly while looking at her with her anguished look. Rias. I hope that one day I can overcome it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.